I have written for a long time. I did a book back in 76 till April Fool Day of 80 when I was almost killed. It was about mind control murders done in patterns and programming. I had worked for doctors, and I'm going to leave it at that. I've put it up YouTube, Facebook for years now. Some of these, because mind control is not visible, they're hard. How do you prove it? These were deliberately done in patterns, and I had a letter from the FBI. I thought it was because of the book. I remember someone with the agency saying no, that it wasn't because of a wiretapping, because my phone was tapped. It's because of kidnapping. Well, I later found in '83, and I'm leaving out a lot, I was flown out to Larry Flint's home in Bel Air, where I stayed 2 times in October of '83. He helped me in a campaign to replace Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor from Atlanta, Georgia. He was part of the John Birch Society, but I had written about him in the book. And Larry Flint was shot during that time, March the 6th, I believe, of '78. And it was got so bad for me, and I thought, it was always bad for me, but I thought it was because I was doing the book. It entailed a list of murders. It entailed things at Emory University. And Jonas Robicher, I'm going to name him, he's one of the few people who went to bat for the truth. And he was head of law and psychiatry at Emory. And he was, let me just say this quote in parentheses, he was supposed to have died in '81, I believe. The book that he last published was not published by who he normally published books with, but it shared the power of psychiatry. And the last chapter, I'd not met Dr. Robicher, but his last chapter had my 10 of my cases listed. And he had referred Gene Srokerman, who had come to him for help, to my attorney, Eugene Kaiser, who was a former Fulton County district attorney. Mr. Kaiser represented me when I was trying to do the book, but he represented me also just prior, and there was a seal put on it. It was against Victor Gonzalez, who it's almost like Jonas. The word Jonas. This gets into such a I don't know, you'd have to hear it all. A well of a tale. Well, what I've told has all been the truth, but Gonzalez is still living good there in Atlanta, as far as I know, and still in practice. And I'm not going to go into that again. Knowing now what I do, nothing was touched really there. I don't think it was Eugene Kaiser's fault. And by the way, I checked after all these years. It's been about 5 years now, maybe, or 4. And you know, the man is dead, but he left his phone on all those years with a message on it. So I'm going to, hey, leave it at that. But he was a nice man and attorney. So I guess that that's about all I was going to put up on here. I was going to tell about, I was mentioning the names done in patterns of these murders. It was mind control murders, the list I might go on. I was out at Flint's and ran in that campaign, and he furnished me a car for a year, and I haven't heard from him since. But it's been rough. I'm not sure I'll make it. But the Freeman, people don't want to listen, but 20 years ago was when the Freeman in, what was it, Jordan, Montana, their militia group, there was a standoff with the FBI. And I started to put this up. I didn't remember it being 20 years ago. I Googled, but I remember where I was up here in 20 years ago, up here. So, and there's the Freeman that just popped up, the school shooting, which is all those shootings, Columbine, Sandy Hook, all were mind control, like Virginia Tech next door to me in Blacksburg, Virginia. The young man from South Korea was programmed to shoot. and then turn around and shoot himself. So he's a victim of mind control, just like the man that shot Larry Flint, who flew me out there. I'd never met him, to his home twice in October of '83. First time I met him, he said to me, I was brought to his home, and he said, "You don't have to tell me anything about yourself. I know everything there is to know. I know they were going to send you back a vegetable." So he meant send me back to England. I had antifreeze put in me April Fool Day of '80. And I'll leave it at that.